All right, welcome. You've made it to the action planning stage, which means you've selected a major improvement strategy. And just to recap where we've come so far, priority performance challenges are those things you're seeing either in the student achievement data, staff survey, community surveys, um, engagement data, things that you're seeing that you recognize are having a negative impact on the learning happening in the building, and you've gone through some root cause analysis to find out, is it an instructional cause? Is it a curricular cause? Is it something related to staff teacher training, sustainability of behavior programs, things like that? There's lots of different places, and out of that root cause, you have now selected a major improvement strategy. And what CDE is going to ask you to do is to really think through your action plan on how you're going to uh, layer it out in terms of what's going to come first, what are you going to do second, what are you going to do third, and then also when you take a look at your staff, how are you going to know and monitor whether or not the implementation is successful? And so to kind of help you with your thinking on this, I wanted to talk through this document that I made that's linked to the site also. That'll show some examples. The form doesn't look exactly like this, but I find that this table is pretty helpful in getting your thinking where you want it to be. And so during the planning stage, you're going to identify two things: the action steps, which demonstrate how that major improvement strategy is going to unfold. What are you going to do first, second, and third? And then progress monitoring, which in the system it calls it implementation benchmarks. And these are look fors for your staff on how you're going to monitor the implementation of the strategy. So, for example, let's say that I'm a principal of a school, and we're going to our major improvement strategy is to build a better response to intervention, or RTI, implementation system. And so, me and my team, we've gotten together, and you can see my timeline is 2 years, and I've kind of broke it down into quarters. You can do months if you want, but quarters I thought would be easy enough to understand. Whatever the timeline you want to do, but you do want to think about the next 2 years on implementing this system and to achieve your vision and ultimately and find those targets. And in order to kind of check the first box, I have thought about all of those things and how I want to layer out the plan. In fact, I thought of 9 things over the next 2 years that I want to do. And so, schedule time for interventions, develop a staff development plan, establish a process for school-wide student intervention and identification. And you can see a little L or a TT next to these. So what I've done is labeled whether or not that's a leadership to do, or if it's on the teacher team level for them to do. For the leadership, you can see I just marked some X's here. This is when I want to make sure that I'm doing them. Develop and use a monitoring plan. I have that for every quarter, and versus some are more strategically placed during the first quarter. When I get down into the teacher implementation, these are the benchmarks to which I'm looking. So I'm going to ask my team first thing that I want them to do is implement the teacher teaching assessment cycle. And obviously we need some staff development on that. And so I've layered in the quarter of when I would like to see what percentage of teachers do this. And when you first implement something, you're not going to have 100% of people doing it. It's going to be kind of a gradual success rate for you. And if it's not, the implementation team or the leadership team is going to get together and talk about, okay, why are we stuck at 60 when really we thought more of the teachers would be here? And so we can adjust our planning. But thinking about when you would like to see staff be successful with that action item is going to help you figure out the implementation and that benchmark that you're looking for. And so action items and implementation steps really go hand in hand when you're thinking about both of them together. And you can see I've layered and just kind of thought about when I think staff will be successful. Getting into the UIP system, it would look something like this. In the action step, and this is in the planning form, the action step is going to ask you to name and describe the action step and then give a date of when that would happen. And you could put an actual date like the end of quarter one on year one, or you could actually put in October for a current year. Who's in charge, the leadership of the PLS, and then any kind of resources that you're using. Hey, we're using this book from, Solution Tree or a Marzano book or whatever resource that you're looking. Ideally, if I had 9 action items up above, I would have 9 here, but I only included a couple for you to look at. The implementation benchmarks are directly from that chart as well. I just put it into more of a sentence, and I thought about this 80% of teachers. By May of year one, 80% of teacher teams will have designed, and you can see our internet is out, will have designed and implemented supplemental interventions for academic centers. So it's just using the language from that chart above up here. And so I think, although the UIP template does not ask you to create one of these tables, I find it to be really, really helpful in the planning and answering what needs to go into the action items and what needs to, and how that implementation benchmark can be written. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.